Hey everybody, welcome back to the First Issue Club podcast, your weekly meeting of the minds where we talk about the best issues of the week. What are those, you ask? Well, they're the first issues of every new series. We come here to talk about them, to discuss them, and to enlighten ourselves and you as well. I am Greg. With me is Mike D and Budget King.
Hello.
Hey.
And before we get started, before we get into news, I just want to say a deep and thoughtful gratitude response to Boulevard Beer for sponsoring our show. Space Camper IPA. It'll send you to the moon. If you're 21 and up.
Delish.
Do not drink and drive. Or text and drive. Or eat food and drive.
Or you just drive.
Just drive.
Yeah.
Can I say, I found 1 million copies of the Chadwick Boseman Spawn book in a dollar bin today. And it made me think of this podcast and how all-encompassing it is for different sorts of people.
Go on.
Because I had a lot of people that had just like never stepped foot in a comic shop the day that came out.
Yep.
Being like,
Could you grab me this?
like, oh, do you have that? Oh my God, you have it? Is it? It's $20. Amazing. I'll buy 5.
Yep.
And now there's just like tons and tons and tons of them just hanging out everywhere.
And us being old salts of the biz know that we're not going to buy a book for $20 when they
Yes.
overprint it like that. We'll wait a year and it'll be in the dollar bins.
So whether you're an over-purchaser or a waited-out fan, we're here for both of you.
Yeah.
We hope you can
No
guide
shade.
you
No shade if
maybe
you
in-
bought it for $20.
No, not at all. And it's, it's cool to have anything that gets you excited about.
It's a lesson
Comics.
learned for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, like I said, we're First Issue Club. Welcome in. Today we'll be doing DC Vampires and Enter the House of Slaughter. One's on DC, one's on Boom. We'll get to those in a minute.
Image.
Is it on Image?
Yeah.
Oh, No, it's on... Is it on Image?
I mean, why would Image take the book that's on Boom, do the sequel to it?
I think we did this last
Oh.
time. It is on Boom.
I've got crossover in my head still.
You got crossover on the brain.
Sorry.
Here's the thing. It feels like an Image book because it's probably the biggest indie book that
Yes.
it exists currently
You're
right now.
right.
And so it's like, oh, of course that would be
Yeah,
on
it
Image,
should be on Image.
but it's on Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into that, does anybody have any news?
You do.
I do. Crackle Barrel's selling comic books.
Okay, hang on. Are you being serious?
Cracker Barrel, the American institution at this point.
Very familiar. Although I don't believe it's on the coasts really.
It's definitely a Bible Belt thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that to be true, but I can't imagine. I don't like
Dollars to donuts, Crackle Barrel is not on the coasts.
I don't think there's one in like Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, or L.A.
Right.
I can see a Cracker Barrel in the L.A. skyline.
This
Okay.
is the restaurant that famously apologized to its customers who bullied them into carrying products by racists. Do you remember like the whole Duck Dynasty thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
They had like a lot of Duck Dynasty joke merchandise.
Yeah.
And then one of those guys went on like a racist tirade, and then they pulled the merchandise.
Yep.
And then
all the racists that eat there.
Yeah, we're like, we want Duck Dynasty back, or I'm never eating at Cracker Barrel
Where's
again.
our bearded duck guys?
Cracker Barrel issued an apology
for pulling it.
for pulling it
Yeah.
and put
Only in the
the
USA.
product back on
Man,
shelves.
I hate. Okay, wait.
And
So
I was like, I'll never ever go into one of these places.
Right. So, yeah, Crackle Barrel.
unless they get exclusive variants, and then I'm in.
Oh, mama. Well, we can just skip it because we're not going to be going in there.
no. I want to hear. I want to hear what they're
Tokyo,
selling.
they've merged with Tokyo Pop,
Okay.
and they're selling their Nightmare Before Christmas manga in the Crackle Barrel, like, gift shop. Crackle Barrel is an enigma because it's the only place I know where you have to walk through a gift shop before you can eat.
It's fucking brilliant though. Because what are you doing? You're waiting for your table. I'm gonna buy some tchotchkes. I'm gonna buy some salt and pepper shakers that look like dwarves.
Yeah, or like the red slippers from Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Like some stupid ass shit.
Yeah. Or a puzzle.
Or a Tokyo Pop Nightmare Before Christmas manga.
I just watched that movie today again.
Again? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it before, but it holds up.
It does hold up. It's crazy.
Yeah. But
Bungo Bungo does it again.
anyway, I'll be swinging by Crackle Barrel. For
Yeah,
that
so if you want to pick up your
manga.
kick-ass comic books and a biscuit and gravy,
Yeah,
go to
fuck
Cracker
yeah.
Barrel.
Yeah.
A bucket of butter with every meal.
No shit. And a side of grits with everything.
And lots of no masked people.
I bet if they have the policy to apologize to racists, they don't allow masks in Cracker Barrel.
The other thing is, like, I don't go to a restaurant where they set up rocking chairs out front and encourage you to just rock while you wait for your food.
Not only are they rocking chairs, they're oversized rocking
Yeah.
chairs, which speaks to their clientele.
Oh, I thought they were just like comically big to make you look like small.
I think they're comically big to make their big people feel normal.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, then more power to them.
Another news.
The news can only go up from here.
It can only go. We have a rock solid base here, made of gravy. Writer Peter Milligan and artist Michael Alred are teaming up again.
Oh, great.
To do an excellent comic book. It is a spinoff from Ecstatics.
That's awesome.
And we've been waiting for this for a long time. We all three here are huge Ecstatic fans.
Yep, we got like one special release one shot over the past like 5 years or something, and it's been a minute.
Yep. And so they have the classic Mike Alred
Oh, that's beautiful.
illustrations, and we got Dark Dupe in the bottom here. Don't know who that little guy is, but
Oh,
an alternate reality dupe.
Okay.
So we're ready to rock and roll with this bad boy. That's going to be out in 2022, so mark your calendars. We'll be covering it, so if you want to know how it is.
It'll be hella pre-ordered by me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll buy it the first opportunity I can.
So apparently, Excellence
Mm-hmm.
debuted in Giant Size Ecstatic #1.
Which was that?
Which is
weird
that one-off,
annual
yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
which is that weird thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that weird thing will become. We covered that on the show, actually. I
Did
think.
we?
Yeah. Maybe that will be valuable. It's currently $1.
It's funny, we had this conversation before the episode started. We're excited for the story. Mike, Budget King over here is just like, my collection is only increasing in value.
I mean, I just try to give the angles of relevance for you because it'd make for a boring podcast if we were just like, oh, stories are all that matter.
If every one of your comic books was an NFT, you'd be so rad.
Hey, you tweeted this thing that like earlier this week that I was like, that makes so much fucking sense.
Go for it.
It was something. It was a retweet about like all of the like shit statements or racist statements from people in comic books are collectors, not readers.
Yes.
Am I quoting that correctly?
You are, yeah, you're quoting
Okay.
that correctly, yeah. Our friend Aaron, who is like a big comic book collector and stuff like that, tweeted out that most of speckers and like people who are trying to flip books are like the racist ones and bigoted ones, and they're the ones that are pissed off about, like, for example, Superman kissing a boy.
Yeah. But the like actual story readers are
Right, us.
progressive and
And
yeah.
our listeners.
If you had an iota of context for what situationally is going on, it would be like, oh yeah, this is natural storytelling stuff.
That's why it's so hilarious when that stuff gets to Fox News.
Yeah.
It's just like, you guys have no idea what's happening.
Right.
None. And like, it just speaks to like the complete disconnect from the casual, normal world that it lives outside of comic books.
Yeah.
And when they try to infiltrate, and we're just like, fuck off. Like,
And
you
why
don't know what you're doing.
They called Dean Cain on to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Who hasn't read a comic in like 45 years since he was preparing for the role in
Right.
the first place.
And hasn't portrayed Superman, who isn't even the bisexual one in the comic books, in over 30 years.
Right.
So speaking of like that type of, I guess, LGBTQ representation,
Yes.
there is news about a book we covered last week.
We covered Nubia on the last week's show, and then the writers, Stephanie Williams and Vita Ayala, came out and they said there was
Bia.
Huh?
The character Bia.
Bia was a trans woman, and when she was reborn in the Well of Souls, she was reborn as a woman, an Amazonian woman. So there was
So you wouldn't have known it from reading the comic.
no.
I never got any inkling of it until I saw this pop up in my news feed.
Right. And the response from the authors was they wanted it to be like a natural kind of storytelling thing. They didn't want it to be like highlighted or like kind of,
Which is different than Dumbledore, where you're like,
Oh, God, yeah.
actually he was gay.
yeah. And funny that a turf wrote that.
Right.
It's just like, give me a break. But yeah, like it felt natural. It didn't take away from the story. That when we initially read it, that we didn't pick up that character was trans at all.
Yeah. And they said the assumption you can make moving forward is that at any given time, some of the Amazons
Mhm.
are going to be trans in their previous life before they came to
Oh, cool.
Themyscira.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's great.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. And when Fox News picks this up, we'll shake our heads again. Because ultimately, someone's going to pick this up. And
You see today the first passport was issued with a non-M or F. You can get an X now to designate your gender
Oh, cool.
interested.
on your passport. Yeah.
Cool.
Inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy, folks.
Isn't it, though?
Literally the easiest thing in the world. External reviews are starting to trickle out from the media.
Are you meaning Eternal?
Yes, Eternals.
Okay. I was like, external I've not heard of.
The Marvel Eternals reviews are slowly trickling out.
Okay,
and
and good?
they're complicated.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They the word on the street is they went too big. It went a little too murky with the backlog and the lore, and we kind of knew this with Jack Kirby and like what the Eternals comic books are in general, and we were kind of scratching our heads when the movie got announced anyway.
Of why this.
Why this?
Mm-hmm.
And
just the preview tonally looks more in line with a DC thing.
yeah, and that was a common reference.
Where like too moody, too big, too quick
Mm-hmm.
are just associated with those movies. One thing I have been hearing though is that the after credit scene slaps in this one.
Yes.
So I have no concept or clue of what it is. I'm trying to avoid spoilers at all cost,
Yeah.
but I just hear it's incredible.
Yeah.
But all it can be is a reveal or a tie-in or it's
An announcement of something
right.
new.
It can't be something like cinematic. So the
You're just saying like the cinematography is not just like wow, spellbinding.
well, I'm saying like
There's like a 2-minute scene of like the
to
ocean
say,
erupting
to say
into
that
fire.
it slaps.
it's a bag blowing in the wind.
Now that would get me rock hard. Now that's cinema.
And the bag says
Yeah.
Excelsior on it. That's the Stan Lee cameo.
To say that something slaps would imply like the viewing of it makes you feel like emotionally evocative and you're like really like into it.
Yeah.
Easter eggs are typically just like, cool, they're gonna tie in some bullshit.
Yes.
But maybe this is more.
I don't know. Maybe I chose the wrong adjective.
No,
'cause
you chose the right one.
I didn't
People
know how
are
you
going hog shit wild.
identify with the word slap, but people are really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, like, I think I would have had this same reaction to like what was it, Guardians of the Galaxy when Howard the Duck
Howard the
showed up
Duck.
at the end. I was like, oh my God, and wait till you see the
Which
end
they never
sequence.
did anything with.
Still, it's fine. It was fun to just have him in the movie.
He's popped up throughout other movies.
in the background and things
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Most famously at the end of Infinity War, at the big
Oh,
fight
yeah,
scene, he's
yeah.
carrying one of the biggest guns on the
Oh,
battlefield.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I love it when they make a whole 3-hour movie just as a preview for a new movie they're gonna make.
It's my favorite thing about the Marvel movies. I honestly tune out for those 3 hours, and I'm like, oh boy, here
Me
comes
too.
the credit scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wake
I
me
gotta
up when the
sit through all the
credits start.
key grips and all the VFX workers.
Give me that bump of cocaine. I'm ready to watch.
So yeah, I have heard that the end credits for Eternals slap. I spoiled myself and found out what they were. So
Oh, really?
Oh,
that's why I'm staying completely emotionless
Yeah.
with my face.
Did you look for it on purpose?
Oh, it was spoiled for me
That sucks.
because guess who's on Twitter all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Hard to avoid.
okay.
And a reviewer did it. Variety did it.
You're kidding.
Not even a little
That
bit.
sucks.
Yeah, like the
But-
day of.
But wait, the
Hollywood
movie
release.
the movie's not out yet. It is-
So reviewers get to see it 3 weeks beforehand,
Okay.
and then the embargo was lifted this week.
This is what we talked about. We were going to cover a crossover today because Mike got a copy of it.
Well, many shops got it across
A
America.
crossover 9,
Yep.
but it
Part
is
of the image shipping delays.
it's not on Comixology, it's not reviewed anywhere, and so like Image would appreciate it if you pretended like
It didn't exist
It didn't exist yet, and that you pretended like it was next week. So we're not covering it this week, but this Variety they didn't
Right.
play by the rules.
Right. But in that same vein, reviewers such as us do get things early in our emails. So it's kind of like the same thing. And in those emails, they're just like, you can't say anything until this date about
Right.
what you read. This guy did not read the assignment and just spilled the whole
You
beans.
get in trouble?
How do
you
things get that far? Like an editor has to see this. It's like you're spoiling the post-credit scene. That's
It was
great.
on his personal Twitter.
That's a big. Oh, was it really?
And he has that blue check mark. He's a popular reviewer.
Right.
So instantly.
Boo.
But on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a cool 73%. So it's still fresh.
Okay.
73% is good. Yeah.
It gets you a fresh tomato. I don't know what the cutoff for a rotten green tomato is.
All right. So can we talk a little more about the printing delays? We talked about it a little last week,
Mm-hmm.
but like we mentioned, I got Crossover 9 this week.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the Todd McFarlane video he posted to social
No.
when he was kind of like announcing that Gunslinger was going to come out a week later?
What'd the Todd father have to say?
He's holding like probably 8 issues of Spawn Gunslinger, like the just different covers of
Uh-huh.
issue 1. And he's like, okay, so I know a lot of people are expecting this book today. And he looks like so annoyed. And he's like, we have eight covers that are ready. And some stores, I guess, sell these books in bundles. And they don't want the other books to come out because they want to sell them to customers as like a pack of 10 instead of selling the 8 today and waiting for like the other 2 next week.
Wait, really?
Yes. And he was like, that is the big we heard Image Comics heard from enough stores that said, my comic shop wants to sell these all in bundles to consumers at once.
I have never seen that.
Otherwise, they won't buy them if they trickle in later. And I've never walked into a store
Mm-hmm.
and had them be like, every cover of this issue, number 1, in a pack for you for a set amount of money.
And-
Never.
Here's what you do
And
as
that
a
money would
shop.
be obscene.
You sell them the 10-pack as is and say, we don't have these 2 yet.
Yeah,
but when you come back in for more comics, which I know you're going to do because you're buying a 10-pack of a number 1 issue, we'll have the comics here for you.
And I'll give you a nice slap on the ass. Or a
Yeah,
hug.
or give them a discount. Man, just run your fucking shop correctly.
My thing is that if like I'm more likely to buy a different cover of something if I see it pop up in my store the next week. Right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm looking at the table and I'm thinking of books I need to read today and what I've got my budget for, I'm not going to like Many Comics and being like, I'm going to buy 4 covers of this like one book that I want to read.
Right.
If it comes out next week and I'm like, yeah, why not? I didn't see this cover. It's cool. I'll add it to the stack.
I don't know anyone who's going to buy the 10-pack bundle.
It was a crazy
Gunslinger
reason to
number one.
delay it.
Also,
And you
on
could tell
on day one, like wait till they're discounted.
Or
Yeah.
wait till a year when they're all a fucking $1.
Yeah.
So you could tell Todd McFarlane was like, what the actual fuck with this? And who knows, maybe someone at Image gave him like a dumb reason and he was just like, I have to go online and apologize for this.
Yeah.
But there's a video of him kind of like being like, 1, 2, 3. I mean, so many covers, but held up because 2 didn't get to the printers on time.
You know what I hope this does do? I hope it makes people realize we don't need 10 variant covers for one book.
Yeah.
Like, one main cover and a variant. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that would stop your backup of, like, paper shortages. And, like, it would stop your LCS from not selling all these random-ass variants they have to buy now.
Well, what publisher was it recently that said they weren't even doing like second printings anymore?
Image.
Image, yeah.
Image came out and
Did
said,
we talk
no,
about that?
I posted on the Twitter. It just
Yeah.
came out like last week after we posted the show. Image
Uh-huh.
said no more second prints
Right.
or subsequent prints after that. They're like, we're done. Like, it's first prints or nothing.
So we might be going that route where they're just like, listen, we're just trying to get things to stores on time
Mm-hmm.
because people are annoyed or pissed.
I fucking love first prints or nothing. That makes me really
Well,
happy.
it helps their bottom line too because, like we've said before, they don't make money off the speculative second market of these printings. That's like the flippers that make the money. So I agree. Like, first printings are nothing.
So we'll see.
Well, it's gonna drive.
I'm assuming
it'll
God-
drive the price of first printings up, though, right? Obviously.
No, they're still $3.99.
No, on the speculative
after.
market.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
yeah.
I
If
hear
they're
you.
not going to
yeah.
be subsequent printings.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
So you got to get them.
yeah. So as a consumer, I'm just like, oh shit, I'm not gonna have a chance to get a second
I'll just
printing.
pre-order-
pre-order all of them.
I buy every number 1 of Image anyway,
Mhm.
so I'll just continue to pre-order them.
Does the fact that a second printing exists dilute the value of a first issue at all to you?
Yes.
To me,
It does.
Well, here's the thing, because it indicates something like this book was printed the fuck out of.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's a lot of them out there and stuff. So a second printing of it just makes it seem like that's a book that there's a lot of copies in the wild of.
Even though there's only one first printing.
Yeah, because
I'm saying the first printing could be a low run that people go nuts about.
yeah, exactly.
And then it goes into second printing.
it used to be that, and I think that second printings get announced now like day of and third printing. So it's like it just means like there's a lot of these.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a rare occasion. I think what Mike is saying is like books that they don't know are going to pop off.
Yeah.
Like Stray Dogs. No one knew that book was going to go into the stratosphere with sales. And so that's why they're doing so many multiple printings of it now, is because people love the horror poster movie, subsequent printings. But like they didn't know that book was going to sell out. Like when Saga comes back, they're going to print a fuck ton of Saga, like whatever number they're on now. Just because they know people are going to run and buy it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I will forever be like, I want the first print.
Me too.
Totally.
I'm never going to be like, a second print is worth nothing to me.
Right. And that's how it was when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, first, when you have a first printing, it means you were there on the ground floor. You were there for the soft open when your friend was doing his bakery.
Well, second printing wasn't as like didn't happen as much.
No. And it meant that it was lesser
Yeah.
in value.
Yeah. Remember like DC just used to do, it would just be like a color, like a tiny little color difference.
Oh, yeah. Same with Marvel.
Or like the barcode would be blacked out or
Yeah.
something. Like something foolish.
Straight foolish.
Straight foolish. I would put it in my bike spokes. Make it sound like a motorcycle.
Toilet paper. All my toilet paper is second and third issues.
You buy the recycled stuff too? One ply.
You ever seen like a sixth printing?
Yeah, I have a sixth printing.
Sixth printings are the final printing a lot.
Is that it?
I have
a lot of image books, they'll say sixth and final.
6 and done. Guys, we cannot keep doing
yeah,
this.
dude. Come on.
I think it's Once in Future I have the sixth printing of.
Okay. I have Something's Killing Children.
I think it was just because it's so absurd. They're like, I was like, sixth printing, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll get
Let's
it just
call
'cause-
it.
Yeah, like, this is stupid.
I have some Thor book of like the fourth printing too, and it's like then they started to do this thing where it's like they do covers that are the reveal of the first cover appearance on like a fourth printing or something like that, which is like I'm of two minds of that, I guess.
I mean, we keep buying them, so they're going to keep doing them. Unless you're mentioned, they said no more.
You ain't getting it anymore. I hope that helps them. That's a bold move. It's better than anything Bad Idea's ever done.
But yeah, I'm assuming this is something that happened with Crossover 2, is that the reason that I got it is because the guy at my comic shop was like, I have all the A covers, fuck it, I'm going to put them out on the shelf instead of...
Yeah.
And I don't even know, like, if Diamond sends you these and you just open the box, I don't know how many comic shop owners are like, well, let me cruise my email for like emergency notifications from publishers that say like, no, wait.
Please.
The release date's next week now. Like, I don't know if I'd ever, one, check that stuff in time. Two, I'd probably be like, fuck you, I have it.
Yeah, I need to make money now.
The other thing too is it's like, maybe I'm wrong here. This could be a completely ignorant statement, but it's like, come at me, Diamond. Like,
Right.
you're gonna shut me down? Like, you're on your last leg. You're a dog with 3 legs, maybe 2. So
They lost Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
They're on 2 legs.
So like, I'm good, Diamond. Why don't you come at me?
We newsed it up, and we're gonna talk about DC vampires right now.
This is a double dose of Tynion.
Oh yeah, this is the Tynion episode.
Both of these books are written by James Tynion.
I have to say it now, just so we can get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You guys balked at me when Deceased came out.
Yes.
This is kind of along the same lines.
You think this is fire?
I think this has the potential to become fire, just like Deceased. This is kind of a Elseworldian horror take on the DC universe.
What I did not appreciate about this book was them hoodwinking you into buying an iVampire book. Like, it felt like this was like Vampires in Justice League, and then it's like, oh, it's actually an iVampire book.
What's iVampire?
iVampire is a entity that existed on Vertigo.
And so I didn't get that. Was that a character from Vampire?
Vampire, the characters in this. Like,
Okay.
that's who the main character
All right,
is.
I did not know that. So when you say it like that,
I'm doing this motion like...
like hurry up, like get off the stage. That's what you're doing to me right now. So, okay, that's the Vampire guy.
I guess.
Wouldn't that make it
Was.
like more exciting or more fun that
Yeah.
it's like a pre-existing weird
It's
Vertigo
also still
thing?
a DC character if it's on Vertigo.
Yeah. No, you're right. I guess for me, I was just like, it felt like this is something I don't know about. So now I'm like not in. It felt like, but it didn't affect you guys. So it is what it is.
I thought it was fun because there's no stakes, pun intended. And it was like, it's right around Halloween, a fun, spooky vampire thing.
Yeah.
I trust the Tynion. He tells a great story.
And Tiny Onion we trust.
And we got to see one of the Wonder Twins put in a blender.
That was fun.
Okay, now that was beautiful. No, you're right. The mystery of you're right. If
You
this
think
is,
more shit like that should have happened?
if there was just like vampire stuff, yes.
I could have done with
A lot.
more hokiness and stuff like that.
I think which we'll probably get. This was definitely the setup to hopefully more characters in Green Lantern blenders.
Okay, so this is the weird thing about this book too, is that you're reading it and like, I guess for me, I didn't really have a lot of I didn't really like a bunch of previews on this. So I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. Green Lantern is like kind of fucked in this. And it's like, you didn't like see it. I didn't see it coming.
Right. No one did.
that was.
This is like the first thing. This is the first issue.
And one thing I'll always say about my comic books: keep the surprises out. I don't like twists.
I have a bad heart.
I like expecting and seeing where everything's
I
going.
don't like to be jolted.
No characters should ever change.
When Green Lantern exposed that he had fangs, I had to go on my oxygen tank. I started having palpitations.
It was when we learned that a Justice League member had been compromised. I was like, "Whoa, fun!"
Yeah,
I loved that.
It's lit. Like we're going in now.
Yeah, this is the point at which it's exploding.
Yes.
So that we haven't said it yet, but Green Lantern is a vampire in this.
Uh-huh.
And a secret killer vampire.
Yep.
And secret killer vampire. Not only is he a vampire.
well, there are good vampires in this.
That's true. I Vampire is a good vampire.
Who's dead? Green Lantern killed him, right?
All vampires are dead, Greg.
Oh, clever. I like that. So yeah, well, and even like the
So is the vampire no more? Oh, I guess in this Elseworld, yeah.
Yeah, he got killed off in this.
yeah.
Heart in a blender, beautiful oblivion.
Oh man, if we could do 2 more minutes of that. I don't even know where I was going.
Eve 6?
No, the League of Evil Superheroes
Yes.
got taken out by vampires too.
Yeah, Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom. Thank you. Good Lord.
Thanks to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Lex Luthor, I guess, has vampire killing blood in him.
Something to that effect.
That's one of the fun things about these books that are like, let's step outside of the continuity for a second, because it seems like a normal DC book, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like all these major characters have been murdered.
Yeah.
Like that was like
Just
fun to see,
completely
like,
offed.
Lex Luthor die right away and the Riddler be a vampire already.
Yeah.
So there were some things about the pacing of it that were fun, but I think I'm with Budget King in that it definitely could have been zanier. It was like in between serious and zany. So push the envelope a little more on zany for these like out of this world sort of comics. Like I kind of like the Archie, like Vampironica sort of take on things where it just is like 0 to 100 immediately.
Sure. And that was my point about saying like the fact that Vampires was in this grounded it immediately for me in a place that I didn't want it grounded. I just wanted to follow a vampire into the Justice League. Like I didn't need to know this character that has this history or whatever. But like Tynion is such a good author that it didn't matter. Like it didn't take away from it at all. So this book was surprisingly great. I've seen lots of good reviews about it. So I think that it will not be like Deceased, which was slightly lukewarm and then fire near the end. Whereas this is like, I think fire from the... But you were right on Deceased. Like you were dead right.
Yeah, I knew it was going to take off and you guys scoffed.
I did, like, reading it just felt so lame in the number one, but it's not true. It's a good book.
I think Deceased did what you wanted this book to do, which was go completely off the rails. And you didn't want that then. Now you do want it.
Well, this book, I'm just glad Nth Metal wasn't in Vampires versus
Don't
DC.
even mention its name.
And I love that, like, Batman's kind of like our... It appears is going to be like our holdout because he's the detective.
Yeah.
So he's going to suss out who is compromised and who isn't.
And apparently Green Arrow plays a big role in DC Vampires.
All right, next book up.
Into the House of Slaughter.
The Tynion Man himself. He's doing a spin-off series to his book, How'd Erica Get Her Groove? Well, she was part of the House of Slaughter.
I expected this book to be great. And it was.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And this is one of those rare occasions where it's like expectations were very high for me.
Yeah.
100% met. Like I was just like, oh my God, this is how you do this book.
Yep.
And the cover looked like it was going to be a weird spinoff, like a money grab. I was not thinking that it would be as good as I needed it to be. It was good.
It's a great way to give you like background context. And I love the idea of giving you a different character to figure out the rules of the House of Slaughter.
Right.
Which is the secret organization that handles the monster killing and something is killing the children. If you haven't been following the series. All right. That's as much catching up as we'll give you.
Yeah.
Erica, the main character in something, is such like a, I don't give a fuck about your rules. I'm not paying attention to what you're telling me. And is such a bad character to like view the lens of the history through because of her like fuck all attitude. And so to transition to another character who's kind of like, I want to please mommy and daddy at the secret organization and
Type A.
Yeah, totally. He's such a good character to like be like, hold on, let's jump 10 years back and explain all of this like mysterious cult organization that you've been super curious about throughout the course of Something is Killing's 20 issues.
I think if you compare this to like a Hickman book, where it's like Hickman would maybe get into book 16 and then be like, no, wait, the world's fucking huge. And it's just is like, you've lost me.
Yeah.
This is like, the world has way more layers than you think it does.
Yeah.
We're going to deep dive, but we're still getting the same storytelling.
Right.
Kind of solidifies Tynion as like
The better author.
Masterpiece.
Imagine Jonathan Hickman and James Tynion are both dogs on a leash. And they're given the exact length of leash. The Hickman dog will run right to the end of the leash.
Yes.
And snap his neck.
Totally.
And the Tynion dog will walk gingerly, realizing that he needs to keep enough slack to make sure he doesn't hurt his neck. And this is what we're getting right now. And this is why Tynion books are far superior than Jonathan Hickman books.
Wow, huge revelation. Hot statement right off the presses on this pod.
Put it on a shirt.
You're right. Something is Killing the Children, #1, did not need charts and graphs to be good. And leaving some mystery instead of like 4 explainer pages of like memos.
Fake emails.
Memorandum, yeah. like blacked out documents.
Coded alphabet, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Why am I reading Krakoa in this fucking Boom book?
That's a great take.
I got the free comic book day of this.
Same.
But I didn't read it. I wonder how much of this book it went into.
None.
It was all prelude to this
I was
book.
nervous.
Oh,
when
it was
I
all
read-
prelude. Okay.
Yeah, I was nervous when I read the free comic book day. I was like, oof, like not really vibing with
It wasn't
this.
that good. Okay.
Well, it was so short, like you couldn't really get into it.
No, so basically all that it's doing is giving you a little bit of a lens into the relationship between the main character of House of Slaughter and Erica. And so it's, if you've been reading Something is Killing, this is the one that bridged your gap. So you were like, okay, when I pick this up, I'll have a deeper understanding of what's going on.
Right.
I do feel like if I didn't know about Something is Killing the Children, I still would have had a great ride.
I was
going to
ask you if you felt like House of Slaughter stood up solo.
Yeah, I think it does.
I think it did.
And I think it's got a great main character.
Yeah.
They already set up a love interest they already did that thing where they tell you kind of how the story ends at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're dying to know how it gets there.
Yeah.
So there's so many things going on that are great about it. It gave me kind of Magicians vibes.
It did.
Where they're like kids going into this mysterious, weird school, and there's all these rules they don't know about, and they're about to figure out their worlds are like way crazier than they thought. So
you got to earn your teeth.
you got to earn your teeth. I love that the handkerchief, which was a very iconic point of vision for the franchise, holds important like
denotion of like your rank.
Yeah.
They gave it like a reason. It's not just like a thing that looks cool from the character design. They gave it a background and a history.
It felt like flair. I just thought it was like a cool character design thing throughout the book.
Which is like
like a grifter thing.
Right. This is like when they reboot things 20 years later, and it's like, man, everyone gravitated towards this one weird character. So let's make him more important now in the sequel that comes 20 years later.
Right.
Like James Tynion seems like had the thought of that on a much quicker scale.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the plan from the beginning to have those handkerchiefs mean something.
I'd be
but
curious
the fact
to know
that they do are like is very fucking cool.
I doubt he does podcasts because I'm sure he's just
he gets asked all the time.
So busy and so fucking loaded. He's like, no.
He's been on a few.
I would love to just like sit him down and be like, did you think
I
this?
would love to just sit him
down and just smack his bare bottom raw. Like, good job, sir.
The first thing, if he was on this podcast, I'd be like, say something fucked up, man. Like, you can do it. We're the kind of the podcast where you can
say 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah, go for it. Let me see all your QAnon.
You guys know those Dem Island boys?
Oh, God.
You know exactly who I'm talking about,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I even need to explain them to people listening because they've permeated all social media at this point.
Right.
I didn't know this about them, and I don't know if this is well known, but I saw a video last night where they were like shouting out InfoWars.
Okay.
And so I guess Dem Island boys are like far alt-right conspiracy theorists.
Cool.
Seems like if you get face tattoos, that might be in your sphere
So
of influence.
Weird that those guys would be like, hell yeah, Steve Bannon is my fucking guy.
It's my road dog, my ride or die. The Bannon cannon is here to blast off.
So weird. I don't know how we even got on that again, but
Dem Island boys. Do you think anybody got Dem Island boys and thought like, this is a legit freestyle that I fuck with?
Is this jerky boys? This is great.
I wonder if anyone has demislandboys.com.
I'm sure it's been bought. I guarantee it's been bought. Hopefully by them. So, Enter the House of Slaughter. Great side piece to your Something is Killing the Children.
Yep.
If you're into that world.
I fell off of Something is Killing, and I might stay on this one.
For a wee bit.
I think I'm going to get that. I'm going to try to get the full omnibus.
The trade or omnibus. Yeah.
Not the one that sold out like crazy for $55 or with like the weird glow in the dark thing that you can't get anymore.
The shimmery cover, yeah.
There we go. But I do.
Our comic shop got 2 of them.
They get snatched up.
He was saying, he said he had them called dibs on by people like weeks ahead. And he was thinking that he was going to get like a lot more given how much Something is Killing that he orders. And he went big on his House of Slaughter order. And, sometimes publishers incentivize or base allotments on those things. But he only was like, I can't believe they just sent me 2 of them. So.
Oh, they just gave him as incentive? Like
I'm not sure, but I think he was expecting his allotment of them to be more.
Could you not order them specifically?
Maybe not.
Like it was like a random thing
I don't know
that
if
showed
like
up?
it was one of those things where like you try to order 20 and they're like, you get 2.
Gotcha.
Because we don't have that many.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, there was a limited amount that they did
Mm-hmm.
make, so yeah, maybe each store got 2 or something.
Yeah.
They were
crazy
probably
like
like,
that.
are you a bundle store? Are you one that bundles
Are
all
you a gunslinger bundle?
Yeah, if you're not, then you get 2.
You
'cause
get
we
2
really, we ride or die with our bundle stores.
Our bundle boys.
Yeah, get over here, you bundle boy.
Oh, I was going to say, too, is the kid in Something is Killing the Children gay?
Yes.
He is. Okay. I was wondering if there was already a gay character in Something is Killing the Children, because our lead in Enter the House of Slaughter is.
Oh, I thought you meant the lead in House of Slaughter. I don't know about the kid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said yes prematurely.
I was just going to say that it's something James Tynion does in most of his books.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, here's our male lead.
Here's our queer character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hopefully Fox News doesn't catch on. More gays in comics. Can't have that. More coming up with Tucker Carlson. That's it for First Issue Club. We covered a lot. Said a lot of things I'll probably cut out. But we love you anyway. We love drinking Boulevard beer. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye. First Issue Club is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company via Space Camper Cosmic IPA. Our music is courtesy of the fine folks at Primary Color Music. You can find, friend, and follow us on social media at First Issue Club or firstissueclub.com. You can support First Issue Club by joining us on our Patreon for additional content at patreon.com/firstissueclub.